I'm Marquise Bryan, and this is Mark 2.0. We are just thrilled to have Sharon Marie Klein, musician Sharon Marie Klein, on the podcast. Sharon, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Sharon, for being here.
Thank you so much for having me and inviting me.
Oh, yeah. No, this is a treat for us. I want to ask you, when did you first get into music? And tell us some of your musical influences early on in your life and throughout your life.
Yeah. Well, I do have kind of a very musical, I don't know, what do you want to call it, little bunch of ingredients that make me up. I grew up in Florida, in Jacksonville, Florida. I was exposed to what I was exposed to there. I was exposed to opera. I was exposed to musical theater. I was exposed to a little bit of blues. So all of that, and I listened to the radio all the time. So my mom used to have, and also phonograph records, if you know what those are.
Oh,
That's big.
I miss them.
Yeah, I know. They're great. And so she had me growing up listening to things like Nancy Wilson and Dakota Staton. Those are great artists of the era. And also, Duke Ellington, and just amazing orchestral things, classic jazz. So I grew up with that in one ear. There is a music company that I was involved in that was an operatic company because I studied classically. And then there was what was in the city, So I got a lot of different feels for a lot of different music. Jazz stuck with me because there was something about how the emotion and the melody, there was a lot of room for self-expression through that, and a moody expression. So that kind of stuck with me more out of anything. That and musical theater, which is what I got my degree in.
Amazing. I think she just answered my question, didn't she, Mark?
Yeah,
Mark? Mark?
Yeah.
And we've had a couple of jazz musicians, and I've gone on and on about jazz music. Jazz seems like it's so hard. It's like intimidating for someone like me. I consider myself a musician because I sing and play some guitar and stuff, but to walk into a jazz situation, there's like no way. It's like so hard. But already hearing your background, you were just flooded with the hardest, most complicated, and probably beautiful music on the planet. And you were just immersed. And so no wonder you ended up at jazz. I mean, we've had, a couple of jazz musicians, and I say to them, what's it like to just be walk into a situation, and no matter what happens, music starts, you can just throw yourself right into it and just go off like that. I would have to learn a thing. We talk to a lot of actors, and I'm like, oh, you guys, you get that, you get it. And, oh, we got it done. It's done. And you're off to the next thing. But as a musician, I had to practice and practice and practice and get it down, and then go out and do the same thing every night, the same thing every single night. But jazz is much, much different. And so I was going to ask you why jazz, and you kind of just, did that. But what's it like? What's it like compared to other things? What is jazz like compared to other music?
Well, I do think it is really that interplay that's important. Yes, you study and you learn your craft. So a bass player would learn his craft, piano, there's drums, his vocalist, mine. But it is when we come together is what really makes it, at least for me, enlivening, because you listen to each other and you create, with every song, you create new art every time. So it isn't like classical or opera where you have to go and you sing the exact same notes, and you have to, hit the fermata there, and then you have to, you have to be really loud and big in this moment because it expresses that emotion, or that's what the rest of the cast needs you to do. For jazz, everyone needs to really be listening, and it's an interplay. It's and I think that's what's different about it. Same for popular music, and especially music that's on the radio a lot. You have to sing it the way it is done by the original artist, or else you've done something wrong, or the audience gets a little jarred because, oh, they sang that line, out of tempo. Right. You have to sing it. You have like rules. For me, there's more freedom, but in jazz, and there's also more communication and connectivity because you have to listen. You have to listen to really succeed. And the success of a band on the bandstand is how well they are jiving together. You can't have like just a great sax player just blowing his tutti off, and then a singer trying to blow her tutti off, and then the piano player trying to blow his tutti. That becomes cacophonous, and sometimes I'll see that happening, and then I'm like, okay, guys, let's, I don't feel like we're in our groove yet, and then we have to find the heart of it and then do it. And I find opportunities for that in jazz.
That's another brilliant observation. It sets itself apart in that it's not about the recorded media. It's about something entirely different. It's about the moment and the shared expression. Music has become such an isolated experience for everybody. They're in their little headphones and stuff like that, and this is like a group thing. It almost has to be sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing. That is amazing.
If it's just keys and bass, it's still a group thing. You're not just there on your own. It's really about the interplay. It's how the vocalist will listen to the piano player and the lick that he's playing and where she fits in that, where the piano player hears what a vocalist is doing. Like I have great piano players. I'll come up with something based on whatever they've laid out. Then I can hear how they continue my thought. And I find that to be gorgeous,
Yeah.
How long did it take you to where you could do that? I mean, there's people that say, yeah, I play. They can play some songs, they can play songs, but to be able to walk into basically anything to where you're listening to what's going on and just jump in, I mean, how long did it take you for that?
Gosh, since it's been a while now, it does take time. I'll just say that. It definitely takes time because one, you have to have the confidence in yourself to actually not just be listening to what you're doing. So there's like and then the ability, trust comes from confidence in others as well. Or confidence in others comes from trust in self. That's what I'm trying to say. So the more I trust myself, the more I know that I'll be fine with whatever they lead so that I can actually fully be present. It takes a while. It takes practice. I used to go and do what it's called sitting in. I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you guys have heard of sitting in with a jazz group at a club. It means that you know a song, you find out if they know it, you tell them what key you do it in, and then you guys just find each other. You count it off, you do your thing, they do their thing. And sometimes it's better than others. Sometimes you're stepping on people's toes with whatever their creative idea is. Other times you're able to give it the space and then and listen, and then you find a new idea, and then, they listen to you. But it does take time. I used to, when I first started, when I moved back to Los Angeles, I used to go sit in. And that was how I got that education.
That's the smartest road if you're interested in something like that, is to probably just do that then, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you practice at home. You figure out, you figure out a song that you really like, you figure out how you want to do it, and you come up with your ideas, and then you go out there and you just put yourself out there,
Wow, that's cool.
What are live performances like nowadays? The atmosphere and the venue size and everything.
It just depends. You're talking about kind of post-COVID. Is that what you're meaning?
Just recently. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I just did a job at Catalina Jazz Club in Hollywood on Friday night. It was a small group. People are, wearier right now of being out in a one room for several hours, having a meal, then staying for an hour and a half concert. It was a small group, but it was a really alive group. I mean, I could feel them from the stage. I felt the presence of them. They asked me back on stage. I did encores. They really seemed to really love it. So I feel people are hungry for that musical interplay. And they were very, very welcoming to our audience. My band, the audience was very, very welcoming, but it was smaller, than maybe it was, 3 years ago.
Sure. Makes
How
sense.
did you deal with COVID, by the way? What
Well,
did you do?
Yeah, I kind of dealt with it differently than maybe other people did. Because
Cool.
for me, it was like a cool break, because I was at that point, knock on wood. Yeah, I was working so much that it was hard to be in the receptive mood. I was always putting something out instead of allowing like creative impulses to come in and stir new ideas. And so I was actually looking for a break, so I kind of like stopped accepting gigs right before COVID hit. So
Interesting.
first it was, yeah, no, interesting. First it was a really welcomed rest, and I really took the time to rest. Then I started saying, okay, I've rested enough now. I'm ready to go back. And so then I had to like kind of find ways to connect. I did some streaming events. It's basically what I did, was streaming events. I
Wow.
connected with other artists, and created relationships that actually feed my work as an artist. I created collaborations. We can support each other. I took that time to do like kind of inner, deeper work, so that whenever, I got to go back out, I'd have something deeper. And that's one of the things I did develop was my podcast. I call it a short form podcast because it's just me actually talking. But they're little inspirations. It's called Navigate with Your Heart. And they're basically points of interest about and reminding us to kind of take the time that we took in COVID to really connect with what is truly us. Because if we're not moving through our lives in reaction to whatever's outside, then the beautiful alternative is to be moving from what's in here and what's connecting from here or here to, through source. So that's what I call it a short form podcast. Basically, it's just a point of inquiry, and I state my opinion about something, and it's an invitation for others to think, and try to navigate with their hearts. So that came out of COVID too.
Well, hearing that made me definitely want to listen to that. I'm going to check that out for sure.
Same.
So, wow. I mean, so you grew up in Jacksonville, right?
Yes. Jacksonville, Florida.
I have to get down to Florida.
LA.
I've literally never been to Florida, and I'm so jealous of people in Florida. Your parents are also from Florida? I just have to get down there. I don't know why.
Yeah. What was I going to say is, we're not from Florida. A job took, my dad's in education, and a job opened up in Florida, in northern Florida, where he became the superintendent of the school district, is why we went there. Nice. We were living in Los Angeles. Actually, we're living in Riverside when I was a kid.
Oh yeah, I know. Wow.
Yeah, and my most of my family is from Los Angeles or Louisiana, and we moved there because of his work, which is, like in it was like mid to late 70s when we moved there, and it was actually late 70s, and Jacksonville has really evolved since then, but it was pretty country back then. Wow. The main music was country. Race relations were country. If you looked like me, you were expected to do one thing. You weren't expected to be the type of person that I was, or the, well-educated, well-spoken, driven. You weren't. It was really unusual for someone who came from California, especially with my ethics, to walk into. But musically, it was not really alive. Artistically, it was not really alive. Now it is, Now I wish I was, 10 and 11 going out there now.
Sure.
It's quite a place now. And I actually love to go to Jacksonville because it's, there's more space. I don't know. Out here, everything goes like this. Boom, 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 boom.
No,
and you're expected to
100%.
Yeah. There, it has that really like slow vibe. Like my dad lives on a lake, and I can just sit there and I can look at the lake and I can breathe in, and then an idea comes. You don't have that pace here that much. You have to kind of create that here, so and then there's beautiful art happening in Northeast Florida really now. So it's really great. Theater's
Nice.
grown, everything's grown. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you think brought
So
about that change in Jacksonville?
Well, I think really I'd like to say me.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Now that is
I
the
brought
perfect
it.
response. I love that.
But really, I think it really is there was a lot from the islands, from Jamaica, from Barbados, Trinidad. There was a lot of industry people. There was like people who started to live there because opportunities, and it was close, came. And so there was a diversity that kind of came into the community that started to drive it culturally. So I think that's really a lot of what started it. And it isn't that Jacksonville didn't have the heart for more. I mean, the Jacksonville Jazz Festival was great. It just didn't have the population for it. And I do think that diversity really helped bring it about. And just more energy, different energy coming into the city. So it's a great place to live, really, and it's not that expensive.
No, that's what I've
So
heard. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I hear the
a lot
economy's
more.
actually really good there. But I remember, I'm 54, so when I was in
Mhm.
Phoenix, I remember just looking out and there was just dirt, and it was very, like you said, country, it was very, they're still breaking ground everywhere, and so it's kind of cool. But in a way, I see the place I grew up in is already starting to be kind of run down, already.
Yeah.
So that's kind of tough. But tell us, you also have a blog, right? Is it similar to your podcast, or what do you put in
The
your
blog
blog?
is, the blog is just um general jazz information. It's like
Mm.
just Jacksonville I mean, not Jacksonville. I'm in Los Angeles. In Los Angeles, that yeah, I know, whoops. In Los Angeles that, I've been to or I can think of, just sharing the information because one, there's a lot of people don't know, I feel like jazz is in a resurgence now. It's cool now. There's more interest from younger people now, but some of that just needs to be educated. So the blog is kind of like little bits about jazz for people who really don't know. Like what are different types of jazz, Latin jazz, fusion jazz, bebop. What are those things? So it's just that's my service, that I do kind of once a month. And it's also good research for me and education for me, because what you share, you learn.
Sure.
I was going to ask, I'm glad it's doing well, because sometimes it seems like jazz is like almost, it doesn't ever go quite fully mainstream. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
But I have no more respect than the jazz musicians. Those people on the radio. Psh, I'm sorry. The jazz musicians, like I said, are the brilliant minds that understand music through it's in and out, and can just pretty much walk into a situation and I just envy that so much. Having not attained that level, it's just I just love. Do you guys like do you ever like release a single or something like that, or how do you do that nowadays? Or albums, or do you record and stuff like that?
I do. I do
Yes.
record. I don't record as often as I would like to because I consider myself an artist. So I don't want to just be recording music and sending music. I like to take it in and have a point of view and have, like I do something called deranging. Like sometimes I'll take a song that you might know and we treat it a different way. We put another energy on top of it. And that's why I call it deranging. So I take my time with it. And sometimes it's because of schedule, but it's also because I got to get myself in the right frame of mind. But I record albums and I record singles. Like my latest single was a Kenny Loggins song called Love Will Follow, and it was just released in October and did really, really well. It's done really, I've gained lots of buzz and feedback about it, gained more fans, done really well on Spotify, in other platforms. But that was my newest, is that we did a derangement of a Kenny Loggins song. We made it fresh, we made it sexy, because his version is very 80s kind of, I don't know, like, music-y kind of.
Sure.
Yeah. And mine is sexy too, but it's from a female voice, so it's got a feminine approach to it, and we got some surprises in it, and it was a lot of fun to create. So I do that in the studio. I have some really great collaborators. One of my main music directors, he has a studio, so that helps too. So we can go in and we can kind of work out a song. I sometimes, like a lot of people, they decide they're going to do a song, they get their charts, they have it really spelled out what's going to happen, and then they go in and record. I do that sometimes. Most times I come in with an idea, the key, and we create, in the studio, which is not something that a lot of people do, but it does add, I think, another texture of a space in it, in the song, when you are, one person's doing, like, for example, on my This Is Where I Want to Be album, the song Love Dance. It's a Shirley Horns recorded it, many people recorded it, but she was my main inspiration. I decided I wanted to have some kind of like an island kind of, really like bass kind of sound starting it. So my drummer came up with a percussion sound. Then the bass player locked into that, and he came up with his sound. So we have this really kind of vibrant but raw kind of sound going as for the music that was built inside the recording studio in the session. It wasn't already just decided, it was created. I can't believe I'm moving my hands so much. Sorry about that.
No, you're
Great.
good. This is awesome.
I like that.
I love it. Yeah. Now, what was it like recording This Is Where I Want to Be? Because two songs that stand out to me off of there is Laughter in the Rain and Happy Talk, because I discovered Happy Talk, the 80s version. Have you ever heard that one? Captain Sensible?
No.
Yeah, it was a UK hit. And when I was in LA, I went back to college. So I'm studying at the library, and I have this nonstop 80s. It's a UK 80s station on there, and the Happy Talk comes on, and I'm like, what the heck is this?
Oh yeah.
And it's just, yeah.
Happy Talk is from an American musical. It's from
It's a really old song. I know that.
It's from South Pacific.
That's right. Exactly.
But also Nancy Wilson, she did a version with Cannonball Adderley. Helped me realize, this could be jazzy. Then we took it from there, and then we made it jazzy, and then we did like a kind of like a Latin section in it, and then that song in and of itself is like one of my mottos, because I'm such a positive person, and it's like, how are you going to make a dream come true if you're not talking the happy talk?
Yeah, I know exactly.
Basically. So we did derange it. And we
I like that.
And then we came up with that prior to recording. But then, of course, every musician, the rhythm section recorded together, and then other parts like the trumpet recorded on his own, I recorded on my own. And so we added to it, from the concept that we had. But that was a lot of fun. And then Laughter in the Rain, that's one of my favorite derangements. I'm glad you mentioned that one.
Yeah, because it was all over the original Neil Sedaka was all over the radio where I lived when I grew up in Michigan.
Yeah, me too.
There's a lot of good songs like that you could do.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to give you an idea. You can take it for what it's worth. See, what happened to me was I was in like, a lot of rock, heavy rock, even metal stuff when I was young, but as I got older, I just ended up with my acoustic guitar, me and it, and, and I go looking for songs. So I was looking for some, old Stevie Nicks song, and I was looking for a couple other songs, and accidentally stumbled across this band. And because they were doing songs I was looking for, I listened to them, but they're actually a bluegrass song. Now I love them. But my point is, they do a lot of covers
Yeah.
on the idea that you're talking about right now.
Okay.
And they're really good because they're being bluegrass. They're really good live. They don't need to go into a studio. They'll make you a real nice recording right now, just like jazz musicians can do. So I'm just thinking, if you were to YouTube this, you're so pretty, Sharon Marie. And, if you got a couple other guys behind you, you have this little thing where you're doing covers in a jazz style. I don't know. These people make so much, and it's bluegrass.
Yeah.
So yeah. So literally, you start your YouTube channel, you get you a good photographer with a camera.
Well, you've got the YouTube channel. You're already set there.
You are going to get so many views just because I think they just pay out royalties per video. Whoever they do everything from the Beatles. I've heard him do NSYNC, but they do gospel with John Denver. I mean, and all the traditional bluegrass songs. I just think that your live band should go full YouTube and take your idea of these, a good song from the 70s, a popular rock song. That's just going to be a searchable thing. Yeah. And I don't know. I think you would just go boom into the stratosphere.
It really is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is a great idea. That is.
Yeah. You're going to send me a Christmas card. Yep.
There we go. Yeah.
That modern jukebox thing. Have you heard of that?
No.
It is like taking a singer. They're not exactly deranging a song, but they're taking popular songs and maybe doing them a little jazzy or a little bit more unplugged. But they do that with a singer. I think they have their own YouTube channel, so I'll check it out. But I see that often. So it's kind of that concept. I love it. But do it my way, which I like to do.
Well, what I love is that the internet is so big now. I mean, let's face it, bluegrass is not super popular. They're getting a lot of views because they're doing really good versions of, things, and I have grown to appreciate, and I bet you will have viewers that just are like, wow, a jazz version of this. I never even would have thought of that. It's gonna go straight up, I'm sure. I
gotta put this into action. I don't know how to make money on YouTube.
Well, right now, where's the best way to find you have a platform? You just record, or?
No, I do. I have platforms. I have my website, which is Sharon Marie Klein, CLINE, like Patsy, SharonMarieKlein.com. So you can find where I'm performing. You can find all of my internet from there, like, what my social media, my IG page is Sharon Marie Klein. My Facebook page is Sharon Marie Klein. Twitter is Divine MS Klein. I am on every musical platform there is: YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, Apple, iHeartRadio, Tidal, you name it. I'm on it. So you can just put my name in on Google and you'll find me.
Nice. That's beautiful.
Yes,
that is beautiful. So what are your goals? What are your goals right now?
My goals are, one, I love to have music and to collaborate with the movies. Like, I'd love to have a song in the movies, be the opening of somewhere inside the story, but to my voice to be a part of it. I would love that. I'd like to perform at Hollywood Bowl. I'd like
nice. What a classic stadium area. Yeah.
And I don't even have to be by myself there. I can see myself with other artists that have some sort of similar heartfelt platform that we are singing about, socially conscious, globally lifting music.
There you go.
I'd love to do that. I'd love to have voice will travel. I'd love to travel more with my voice. So those.
What about like the Greek Theater? Are you a fan of that also, or
of what theater?
The Greek Theater in LA.
Oh,
the Greek Theater. Yeah,
that's great too. It is. It's absolutely.
I mean, the Hollywood Bowl is obviously 10 times better. I just remember going to see the Monkees at the Greek Theater.
No, it's a wonderful theater.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there a few times. There are a couple. There's another one called the Starlight Theater. I think it's in Burbank. It's another outdoor venue as well, but they're smaller. They're smaller than the Hollywood Bowl. Hollywood Bowl is iconic. So.
Oh, for sure.
I would. I haven't been there, and gosh, I would like to see anything there, especially you, Sharon.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah.
You got it. In fact, you got free tickets. Went on that.
Nice.
Reach out to me.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
Nice.
Well, I've had a great time. You want to cap this off in any way? Mark, do you have any more questions?
No, well, I would say this. Where do you see your career 2 years from now? What do you think?
I see myself being able to choose where I'm going to go and perform with a band that behind me that is stellar, which I already have. And I am not that audiences are coming to me asking me to perform places. People are coming to me and asking me to perform. So I see myself working steadily with ease and grace, and being happy doing it, joyful. I mean, those are simple, but those are hard because as you know, when you're building your career, it takes a lot of effort for this voice to be heard, because there's so many voices, so many places, and so much to do to get out there on the stage. By the time you're on the stage, just know a lot of work has happened. So I look for things to continue to open up so that it's easier for this voice to be heard. I hope that was clear. But to be joyful.
You're such a sweetheart. You're an angel.
I love it.
And you're so beautiful. If your music is half as great as you, you can't be stopped. I'm serious.
No.
You know, you're going to get on YouTube. You're going to play your shows. Patreon. You're going to start a Patreon, and people are going to donate monthly, and you're going to be doing your show. You know, the people I like, they do a lot of live performances too. They do their YouTube things. They do their live performances, and they never have a minute's rest, and they travel. This is a guy named this whole situation, the way the world's set up right now, and jazz is coming back. Yeah,
it really is big time. I think so.
This has all been set up for you perfectly. I can't wait to see what you do next. Just promise me when something happens, you come back for a half hour and tell us what's happened and share with our listeners. Maybe you can tell them, you know, where to find you, how maybe mentor them a little bit, whatever you want to do.
I love that idea. I am all about community and putting it forward. I actually have an Insta live show that I do called About That Beat. Yeah. And so I do it on Fridays. It's going to start up in February, but back up in February, but I bring on other artists so that
excellent.
We can share our roads, our journeys. You know, it's all about that beat, meaning the beat, a music beat, you know, what it takes to get to the stage for you, what your journey's been like, but also what makes your heart beat, why you do it, what drives you, what brings you joy, what are you concerned about, what are your dreams? And it's been a really wonderful communal outlet for me. You know, it's been really great for me to connect with others, and I do make wonderful connections, but it is a way of saying I stand for you as well, because just because we're each singers, most of us that are on my show, doesn't mean we're in competition. We're part of a beautiful orchestra, you know, and we just each play our own little instrument in our own way. We can make something beautiful together. So I'm happy to share anything with anyone.
I love that.
You are a beautiful soul. It's so nice getting to know you today.
Nice to meet both of you.
Yeah, it really is.
You guys stay in touch too.
We will, yeah, and make sure to we will make sure to put your socials on the your website. Of course, that goes to all your socials, right?
Yes, you can get all my socials from my website. Yes.
All right, you hear that, everybody? The information is down below. Get down there, get over to Navigate, check out the podcast. Everybody, Sharon Marie Klein.
Thanks so much, Sharon.
Great having you.
Yeah, it was great.
Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long long to be close to you. Why do stars fall down from the sky every time you walk by? Just like me, they long to be close to you. On the day that you were born, the angels got together and decided to create a dream come true. So they sprinkled moon dust in your hair of gold and starlight in your eyes of blue. And that is why all the girls in town follow you all around. Just like me, they long to be close to you, close to you. Day that you were born, the angels got together and decided to create a dream come true. So they sprinkled moon dust in your hair of gold and starlight in your eyes of blue. And that is why all the girls in town follow you all around. Just like